Hi there, I'm Kelly from She Sails Away. Welcome to my channel. I just got back from cruising with Cunard Cruise Lines on the Queen Mary 2. This was my first time with Cunard. It was obviously my first time on Queen Mary 2. And today I want to make a very quick video just talking about some of my initial first impressions with cruising on the Queen Mary 2. I want to mention that I will have much more detailed videos coming on my channel in the future. Today, I just want to give you my first impressions. The reason I want to do this is because I will be honest and say that going into this cruise, I was entirely unsure if this was a good choice for me. I traveled with family. It was a bucket list item for many of my family members to cruise specifically on the Queen Mary 2. Also, I just had this impression, I just had this idea that the Queen Mary 2 would be kind of stuffy, a little boring, maybe a little bit old, maybe a little bit run down. Let me just go ahead and say, I loved it. I loved everything about it. We did an 8-day transatlantic from New York City all the way to Southampton, England. We stayed on the ship and did a week around Norway and came back to Southampton. Everything was wonderful. It was far better than I expected. It was more than I expected. Not sure I can explain that, but I'll try. It was just a wonderful experience. And I'm here to say that if you have thought about the Queen Mary 2, you weren't really sure it was for you, but you're kind of interested, I would encourage you to give that some more thought. I loved sailing with Cunard. I enjoyed the Queen Mary 2. I think she's one of my favorite ships now. She might be my most favorite ship of all time. And in regards to the Queen Mary 2 herself, it was in far better shape than I expected. That ship looks amazing. It looks wonderful. It is a very different cruise ship than anything I've been on before. It is reminiscent of an older age. I hate to use the word Titanic, but it reminds me of things I've seen in movies regarding the Titanic. For one thing, there's not safety glass all over the place. This is very old-fashioned, old school. You will find steel railings, metal railings all around the ship, no safety glass. It's up to you to pay attention and keep yourself safe. You will find wooden planking for the decks, including the pool deck. This is not a situation like most cruise ships where the floor and ground is concrete or shiny or reflective or different man-made things like that. This is good old-fashioned wooden planking, and it adds so much character to the ship and such a feel to the ship. And the ship itself just has such a dignity. And again, this may sound crazy, but I'm telling you, the Queen Mary 2 had a personality all of her own, and it was really something to get to experience it. Now, as far as activities and being bored and everything being stuffy, that was not the case. Yes, most of the people on the cruise ship were older people, but there were activities for everybody, including young adults. There were some physical activities you could do. For one thing, they do have a fitness center and they offer different fitness classes, yoga, Zumba, stretching, things like that. But they also had a sports deck. They had some simulated games you could play up there. They had shuffleboard tournaments. We had a ping pong tournament at one point. They had swimming available. There was some form of bowling made available. Different physical things were offered. Now, I also went into this cruise wondering about enrichment because I know that's a big thing on the Queen Mary 2. What is enrichment? Am I going to like it? Does it apply to me? The answer is enrichment is a series of things. It's lectures and presentations and classes offered to cruisers that are interesting, they're different, and they're on a variety of topics. Now, on our cruises, we had astronomers come talk to us about the Big Bang Theory and about collecting asteroids. We had a forensic scientist walking us through some cases and how they were solved. We had a filmmaker talk about making his movies and what went into that. We had a person presenting on how to write a one-act historical play. There were watercolor classes offered. There were bridge classes offered. There were different things offered that were just unusual and very interesting. Now, we did have trivia a few times a day, and of course, live music all day, all night. And those were very interesting and varied as well. As far as shows, huge variety in the theater. I will say I didn't love every single show presented, but I really appreciated the variety. We had comedians, we had individual performers, and they have a theater company there that put on dance shows and song shows reminiscent of Broadway. In fact, one of their shows was called Broadway Rocks. They were phenomenal. They were outstanding. This particular company, they just danced their hearts out, and they were tremendous. So much fun. Shopping was offered aboard. It was almost all high-end shops. Kind of a disappointment there, but not really a surprise. There was only one shop there that we enjoyed shopping in, and that was more generalized merchandise. As far as food, now let me just say that I went into the cruise with zero thoughts about the food because I can't remember the last time I had really good food on a cruise ship. Well, the food on Queen Mary 2 was wonderful. Was it life-changing? Was it the best food I've ever had? No, but it was wonderful. Terrific food. Now, I eat vegetarian and vegan for the most part, but I traveled with family, and between us, we tried everything. We had lamb and salmon and fish and shrimp and prime rib and all of those things. I tried almost everything on the vegan menu, and I tried several things from the vegetarian menu as well. Now, one thing I found incredible was that the dining room staff offered me a permanent vegan and vegetarian menu with a lot of choices on them. I mean, a lot. And if I previewed the next night's menu and didn't see anything I wanted for a vegetarian, I could go to this permanent vegetarian and vegan menu and choose something from that and pre-order, and it would be ready for me the next night. So I never found myself struggling to put together something for a vegetarian. And I found the food to be delicious. And everybody in my family who tried all the things on the menu, they loved it as well. Now, we just ate in the normal Britannia Club restaurant. We did not have access to the special restaurants for suites guests, and we were very, very happy with our choice. The other thing I found interesting about sailing with Queen Mary 2 and Cunard, and that is there is a very distinct lack of a hard sell once you're on the ship. Now, I'm used to sailing with Royal Caribbean or Princess, and there's usually a hard sell. Once you get on the ship, they're trying to sell you a drink package. They want you to upgrade the internet package. They're trying to get you to go to specialty dining. There are huge spread out sales of merchandise in the promenade or whatever all the time. The spa staff is everywhere trying to get you interested in a massage. There's just a lot of hard sell on a cruise ship under normal circumstances, in my experience. And with Cunard and Queen Mary 2, that wasn't there. They didn't try to push things on you. Now, those things were available, but they didn't get aggressive. They didn't get assertive. They didn't advertise all the time. It was very laid back, low key. There was a certain dignity and vibe to the whole cruise that I have not experienced on any other cruise ship before. We were there to cruise, we were there to relax, we were there to enjoy and do our own thing. Many things were made available to us to enjoy, but Cunard did not hover. They did not pressure. They did not get in our face about making sure we were having a good time or buying things. And another initial impression I would like to share with you, and that is in regards to dressing up. Now, this is another reason I've never really considered Cunard before, because I know that they have gala evenings that in general you're expected to dress nicely for dinner, and then when they have these gala evenings, you are expected to dress formally. I've heard and seen many things about ball gowns, tuxedos, all those things, and I thought that is not for me. All of that turned out to be so much less complicated than I pictured, and the surprising thing to me is that I enjoyed it. I never ever thought I would enjoy dressing up for dinner, but because I was traveling with my family, it was fun. It was fun for all of us to come out dressed up, to see the outfits we had put together, and to gather at the table and have it feel special, have it feel different. It is fun to go to the Queen's room at the end of the day on a gala night and watch everybody dance because everybody's dressed up in a theme and Some of the outfits are very special. The music is outstanding. Most of the people on the dance floor can really do some ballroom dancing. It was very enjoyable to watch everybody dance. I had a lot of fun. These are things I never thought I would care about or enjoy. And one thing I want to mention here is maybe you can learn from my lesson and not be too quick to write off Cunard or the Queen Mary too. I really didn't think these things would appeal to me, and consequently, I was not willing to give them a chance. I went on this cruise because this is the ship my family chose, and I'm so glad they did, because as it turns out, I really enjoyed things that are very specific to this ship, and things I would never have experienced on my normal choices of cruise ships. Now, I still love all my normal cruise ships, but I love the Queen Mary too, and I'm already planning to go back someday, cruise with her again. We had a wonderful experience. I felt the staff was lovely. I felt the experience was just really memorable. And that is the best way to describe my time on the Queen Mary too. It was memorable. It's a unique ship, it's a unique vibe, it's a unique feel. Now, I have not sailed Cunard's other ships to compare, but Queen Mary 2 is pretty much the most unique experience I've had while cruising. It is not for everybody. It is absolutely not for everybody. If you're cruising with young children who want a lot of things to do, I definitely don't recommend the Queen Mary 2. But if you're someone who's cruising, you might be doing a transatlantic, going to Norway, different things like that. You want to try out Cunard, you're somewhat interested, maybe you're hesitating a little. I would encourage you to give it some thought. Maybe take that leap and go ahead and try it out. I would watch a lot of YouTube videos about the Queen Mary 2 and Cunard before you make that decision. But I would say don't be too quick to write it off. And as I said, I will have much more detailed videos about the ship and the experience and the cruise itself later on my channel. Today I want to share my initial impressions, and there they are. I hope that helps you if you're considering Cunard for a future destination, especially the Queen Mary 2. I would say go, and I would say I'm jealous of you because I can't wait to go again. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up now. Those are my initial impressions with Cunard. As I work on videos for my channel regarding this cruise, the Norway cruise, the Transatlantic, the ship review, the ship tour, if you have any specific questions about the Queen Mary 2, maybe I can answer those for you. Please ask. And if I can help you out, I will. And look for those videos on my channel in the future with much more detail about the experience and about the ship. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you have a great day and enjoy your next cruise.